Hello there. Welcome or welcome back to Commitment Issues. This is Commitment Issues, aka my YouTube channel. And who am I? Well, I'm Joanna. And if you're new here, hello. And if you're not, welcome back. What do we do on this channel? Well, we delve into the scary, wonderful world of the paranormal Reddit. We delve into the unexplained, the supernatural, the creepy goings on, and the mysterious happenings in our wonderful world. And today we are looking at r/ghost stories. Before we jump into the spooky Reddit posts, housekeeping is a must, unfortunately. So if you do enjoy this video, please give it a little like. It really does help out the channel, and it just lets me know that you actually enjoy these kind of videos that I'm putting out there. Also, if you're not subscribed and you did enjoy this and you want to see more things like this, please subscribe, and welcome to our spooky little wonderful family. I also do have a second channel that I made. It is a daily vlog channel where you can just kind of see a little bit about my life, my boring, mundane life in this house, because I'm on day 3 and the furthest I've gone out is the back garden. Also, I tried to do something with my makeup today. It didn't really go to plan, but it is what it is. I had fun. I did a little short live stream on TikTok, and that is something that I'm going to be doing more often. Before any filming of a YouTube video, I'm going to go on there, do some makeup. It might get more wacky and wild as time goes on, as I get back into the love of alternative and kind of over the top makeup. Yeah, I just didn't have a plan. And it is what it is. That is the end of the housekeeping. Shall we jump into the Reddit stories? Are you sitting comfortably? Because I'm bloody well not. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got a blanket this time. Blanket. Because I need to be warm and cozy when we read some scary stories together. I also have my drink in my Nightmare Before Christmas flask. Now, have you got a drink or some snacks or nothing? That's totally fine too. Are you sitting comfortably? Okay, well, let's begin then. Sorry, I got stuff on me. Hello? Camera? I am here, thank you. Shall we start that again? First up is just called Ghost Encounter. Goody. Okay, I'm kind of happy to delve back into the ghost stuff because last video wasn't all that awesome, in my opinion. Some of the stories in that were cool, others were just kind of like meh. So hopefully the ones I find today are a little bit spookier, I suppose. I'm hoping anyway. Okay, shall I just get into it? I'm gonna burp. Just let it all out. Let it all out. I let it all out. Okay. I can't read either. I always forget. Filthy glasses. Sorry. Bear with. That's much better. I can read now. This happened around 20 years ago. I was around 11 or 12 and I woke up from my sleep in the middle of the night. There was a figure standing in my door, darker than the night, if that makes sense. And it was very large. I hid under the blanket and peeked through. It started walking towards me. Oh my god, this is like my worst nightmare. Genuinely, one of my worst nightmares anyway. But yeah, like seeing something just kind of stood there looking at you, and then I'm already creeped out. I've read like 2 lines. It sat on my bed and started choking me, and I tried to scream to wake someone up, but I couldn't. Oh, sugar. I was both frozen in fear and had something heavy on my chest. Is this sleep paralysis? That's what it sounds like from just the beginning of it. I'll carry on though. I managed to squeal enough to wake up my older brother, who was in the room next door. As soon as he turned the light on in his room, something started screaming through the house and made huge banging sounds down the stairs, ending with a bang on the bin. What? My brother ran into my room and my parents also woke up. They came in and I spent the rest of the night in my brother's room. Don't believe you. The next day, my dad told us while that was happening to me, he was having a dream. Something walked through the house, past his room, and he was in bed and saw it. So he followed it, and it went into my room. It sat on my bed, and Dad was holding a camera, walking behind it. That was the dad's dream. He then yelled at the thing to leave me alone, and when it looked at him, the camera broke into small pieces, and that's when he woke up. By far craziest experience in my life, and nothing like that has ever happened to me since. At first, I was like, oh, it sounds like sleep paralysis. Not that I know what that feels like, but just that's what it sounds like to me. But then your dad had a dream whilst that was happening, and your brother heard the banging and the oh my god, that's terrifying. That reminds me of one of my experiences. Oh, I love going into my own experiences. Just reminds me of things. I'm not egotistical. This is my channel though. I can say what I want within reason, obviously. I have on my phone, which is back there charging at the moment, so I'm not going to get you an app called Necrometer or Necrometer or whatever, however you want to pronounce it. And basically it works like a spirit box. So there's one like setting on it where you have like the kind of white noise radio frequency, and then you can hear like people. They say like spirits can use this and you can hear spirits talking through it. And then another option on it is that written words come through, and that's what spirits are supposed to be saying to you. And I remember I was sat in this room, I don't know why I did it in this room, with my sister and my dad, and we were using it, and I was like, okay, let's just see if we get anything through. You never know. It won't be 100% at all like accurate because interference and everything. We did get some stuff through. It was weird though because this house we live in and like the surrounding neighborhood, pretty certain they were old RAF houses, so the army would have lived here with the families, but like in the Second World War, because we live near an old abandoned RAF base. And we did actually get some stuff through about like being a soldier and stuff. So weird. But the thing that reminds me of the dream is that me and my sister, we were like talking. I don't know how we got up onto the subject about my mum, but we were like, oh, that lady upstairs in bed, if she's asleep, we were talking to the spirits, right? We were like, can you go and wake her up for us? Go tell her to like get up. The weirdest thing, right? We also got like the number 7, I think, and or like 7 spirits or something. And my mum woke up and she said, I had the weirdest dream. I was in like a clearing and there was like 7 dead trees, just kind of shadowy trees, all like surrounding her. And then she woke up. Me and my sister just looked at each other and we were like, wait, what? That was like, no, that's just weird. That can't, like, what? We told her and then she told us off. She was like, it was really creepy. Why would you do that? It was a really weird dream. And I'm like, didn't do anything. could have just been a coincidence. So yeah, we told a spirit to go creep my mum out and wake her up. Believe it or don't believe it, but it was weird. And this is weird too, because it sounded like sleep paralysis, but then you go on further and I'm just like, weird. A bit creepy. Just a little bit. Okay, so this one's title is interesting. The Phantom Piano. It just reminds me of Beauty and the Beast with the piano. Throws his keys to people. Anyway, the Phantom Piano. When we were kids, my younger brother and I experienced many strange occurrences. I am so sorry, I cannot sit still. Can't get comfortable. A few months ago, I posted one such occurrence about the banshee experience we had. Unfortunately, my little brother died suddenly in our house just under 9 years ago. When I think back on our time together, I realise that we went through so much unexplainable stuff together. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Here's another event that happened in that house which always sticks in my head. When we were about 10 and 11, I think, at this point we lived with just our mother, as our father would be away from home for extended periods with work. We had a large family, 6 children in total. All of our other siblings were older, at least 10 years older, and they had all moved out. My family is quite musical. Every one of us trained on one instrument or another, including piano. We had a piano in our house at the time, a black try that again. A black Linden piano, a beautiful instrument. My brother and I trained with instructors on this. We always closed the keyboard cover once we were finished using it. On this particular day, my younger brother and I had gotten into a fight over something. We were very close and as such fought quite a lot growing up as siblings do. We were upstairs in the hallway, physically fighting with each other when our mother came upstairs and separated us. She then went in to clean up the bathroom while my brother and I traded insults from our rooms. Yeah, sounds about right. Eventually, this escalated back into a full physical confrontation again in the upstairs hallway. Our mother walked straight past us and into her room before slamming her door, stating that she had had enough, and until we stopped, we were not receiving any help or attention from her. Yeah, she does right. I can remember this angering my younger brother, and we started screaming at each other again. An hour or so passed before we again began fighting when all of a sudden we heard a loud bang of the piano keys from downstairs. This instantly stopped us in our tracks as we both looked at each other in confusion. Then the piano sounded like it was being hit by someone in anger. The keys bellowed loudly up and down the full scale of the keyboard. Remember, we were just 3 in the house at this time, and we were all upstairs. We didn't have any pets, and we usually kept the lid closed. This sent a jolt of terror through us both, and we instantly ran to our mother's bedroom and began banging on it while screaming in panic and fear. Our mother opened the door, and we both rushed in before shutting the door behind us and locking it. The piano had stopped now, and our mother said to just relax in the room as she had been asleep. We lay down either side of her before also falling asleep. My mother and brother both fell asleep for me, but I soon nodded off. I woke up some time later, completely paralyzed. I began to panic when I heard a low, dull growl coming from the door to the room. It had gotten dark by now. I could only move my eyes. I felt a huge pressure on my chest. I have always and still do suffer with sleep paralysis, but I will never forget this one because the horrible sound of that growl would make multiple appearances from this point in my life onward. Oh God. Ugh, no. In the corner of the room, I could make out a silhouette of a person. This is very similar to the last one. I swear to God, I hope I never get sleep paralysis. Please, don't let me. To my horror, it began moving towards me. I tried my best to scream and move in order to wake my mother, but I couldn't. I could only shift my eyes around in horror. The silhouette became a visibly decrepit old woman with white eyes and dangling greyish whitish hair in a haggard old face that had a look of unbelievable sadness all over it. One of the weirdest things was the smell that accompanied this thing. I closed my eyes, begging to be able to move for what felt like an eternity, when suddenly it was like my body came back under my control and I accidentally flipped off the bed due to my struggling while paralyzed. I instantly looked around, expecting to see this old woman, but to my relief, she was gone. Everything was calm now. I sat awake in the room until my mother woke up and I would try to explain everything. She asked me not to tell my little brother because it would frighten him, so I didn't. Like I said, my young brother and I experienced many very strange occurrences growing up. This is just one. I need a drink. I feel like I need a stiff drink. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Uh, Now, could just be sleep paralysis, but obviously the piano, like, ugh. I got chills, they're multiplying. But yeah, why is sleep paralysis so freaking scary? The fact that you were like 10 or 11. Could you imagine? Oh my God, like, I had recurring nightmares sometimes as a kid, and they would scare me. I was so afraid of the dark too, and like, hated being alone in the dark. But yeah, that's scary. Very scary. What is this one? A promise is a promise. This one's intriguing. I don't have a clue what this is about, but let's find out together. This is a story about my best friend ever. His name was Carlton. He was 26 years my senior, a war prisoner, a dark black man, and my best friend ever. Oh. When he turned 59, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. After that, I spent every weekend staying with him and his family, helping out where I could. Carlton made me promise a few things during that time. All I can say is careful making promises to someone on their deathbed. Yeah, okay. He didn't want to die in a bed, so his wife would make the big couch up. I would make a bivouac, 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 bivouac on the floor and sleep there. What is a what is that? Oh, like a sleeping bag. Okay, no. Yeah, kind of like a yeah, it's like an improvised sleeping bag. Okay. One night he wanted to say prayers. I helped him to his knees and lean against the couch. I knelt next to him and we started to say our prayers. I looked at him and he was glowing gold. What do you mean glowing gold? Like just happy? Carlton was a dark-skinned black man. He used to say God made him feel well, but at that moment he was gold and shining as if he were a lamp. Wait, was he dead? I touched his arm and felt like an electric shock, a download of information and visions at a warp speed, snatches of things to come. He smiled at me as if he knew. Later that night, he passed quietly. A few months later, I was in Boulder, Colorado, driving at night during a crazy blizzard. Well, that's safe, isn't it? The flakes were hypnotic in the headlights, and it was hard to drive, when all of a sudden he was sitting next to me in the passenger seat, dressed in a three-piece pinstriped suit. He looked at me and said, "Slow down, Junior." It shocked me and I started to brake. I came up to a car sideways, lights off in the road. If I had not have slowed down, I would have center punched the car and probably killed the driver. That was event 1. Okay. As I said, I made promises, and one of them was to be his eyes and witness his children graduate college. Oh. His kids were graduating in the summer and I attended both. It was heartwarming to fulfill that promise and to be a witness. It wasn't till his daughter was going to be married when I saw him again. He made me promise to walk her down the aisle and scare the hell out of her soon-to-be husband. You know, a dad's job. For some reason, I was not going to be able to be there. Then he appeared next to me as I was driving to work. Again, dressed sharp, but I first smelled him. Aqua Velva Ice Blue. Is that like a perfume? Yeah, so it's like an aftershave, I think. Okay. Aqua Velva Ice Blue filled the air, and there he was, clicking his tongue and shaking his finger at me and scolded, "A promise is a promise, Junior." Now, it's one thing to see a ghost or spirit, but to get scolded by one is another thing. After avoiding crashing and getting to work, I made sure that I had a plane ticket and called her to let her know I would be there. I did attend her wedding and was blessed by walking her down the aisle. He would have been so proud of her. As we did the walk, the lights in the church flickered until I handed her to her husband. Oh, and yes, I stand 6'5", 275 pounds, and I did instruct the groom, advising him to behave, treat her like a queen, and never, ever lay a wrong hand to her. I think you got the message. There are more tales of Carlton. I'll save them for later. I like Carlton. He's like, excuse me, you promised to do this one thing, and I'm not going to leave you alone until you know, do the things that you promised me you were going to do. That'd be me as a ghost. No, if I came back as a ghost, I think I would just mess with people. I'd just haunt people and be like a poltergeist and be a dick. When you pass on and move on to the next realm or whatever, can you like go back to people who have wronged you and creep them out and scare them? I'd like to do that, please. Spirit, please. That'd be really funny. My back is hurting because I can't sit properly. I don't know why I can't just sit normally with my feet on the floor. Whatever. Anyway, next one is lived in a haunted house that made me believe. Same. Wow, that was really high. Oh my goodness. TLDR. Now, I always see this. I don't even know what that means. TLDR. What does it mean? Too long, didn't read. Oh, so it's like a summary of it? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now I know what it means. Good to know. So, TLDR, lived in a haunted house, tried to commune with the presences. I asked for validation or proof this was real. I received validation from a random stranger that I met at a party. Then things got weirder. Excuse me? Okay, now I just need to read this. It's a long one, I see. That's why there's a TLDR. Okay. I'm watching ghost stories from Reddit on YouTube and decided to find a thread to share my story. Did you watch my video of ghost stories on Reddit? When was this? a day ago. Maybe. Anyway, moving on. This story is from around 2007 to 2008. In 2005, I moved into an old house in a suburb of Pittsburgh, PA. PA, is that Philadelphia? Is that where Pittsburgh is? I don't know anything about American geography. I'm shit at English geography, to be honest. The house was in the middle of the town, in what appeared to be a plot of land that the elderly owner refused to sell. There were businesses all around us. Reminding me of Up when he's just like this little house and the skyscrapers are like, I'm not moving.
Your boss, he can have our house. Really? When I'm dead.
Anyway, I've got to stop getting distracted. The benefit was that I rarely needed to drive anywhere. I had restaurants, bars, grocery stores, and even a movie theatre in walking distance. Sounds like a pretty decent place to be honest. The house was a small 2-bed, 1-bath that couldn't have been 1,000 square feet. It had an old stone wall, damp basement with a water tank. I thought it was odd considering we're in the middle of the city and city water would be easily accessible. Anyway, the house was very small and old. Sometime after moving in, we invited some good friends to become roommates. In total, there were 4 people living in this home, which were 2 couples. It was a great time. I was in my lower 20s, and we had parties from time to time. I'm not sure how long it took me to notice, but I wasn't the first person to point it out to the group. I and others started to notice and talk more frequently about the shadow people, yay, that would dart around the house. Lovely. We'd even seen them outside. Our house was surrounded by trees in all directions. We were cut off from the city that surrounded us by those trees. It was great, but made for a creepy scene at night. Can only imagine. First, it was the shadow people. Many times when I was alone in the house, I'd be at my computer playing loud music and playing video games. I'd often hear whispering and seeing shadows in my peripheral. Love that. I could turn the music off and the voices would stop. I'd say out loud, I can hear and see you. Please leave me alone. I'm just trying to enjoy my night. That's what I would do. Something I have done, to be honest. I could turn back on the music and hear the faint whispering again. They're just fucking with you, mate. At night, I would always feel eyes just staring at me. It was especially strong when I was alone. One of my roommates suggested a Ouija board, but I strongly protested. Well done. Yes, good for you. My mum got one when I was around 12 and it did not go well, so I'm scared of them 100%. Yeah, no, they're not a good idea. It was around this time that I decided to pursue whatever this feeling was. I thought, if I can feel it this often, then it has to be real in some sort of way. I started reading books about ghosts and people that call themselves mediums. I started meditating and opening myself up to that world. Was this a good idea? Probably not, but it led down a path that had a very surprising ending. Yeah, I'm gonna say it might not. I mean, depends. If you wanna be more open up to that world, do it more. But like, if you're seeing like shadows and stuff, it's like I don't want to see anything else. I'm a baby.
I'm just a baby.
During this time, unknown to me, one of my roommates was doing the same thing. The girlfriend of my friend started to communicate with whatever was in the house. Probably a bad idea too. I know. I mean, it could have been harmless. I don't know. Maybe. Read on. In my own meditations, I came to the conclusion that there were two main presences, a little girl and a tall man in dark, well-fit clothes. Neither felt bad or evil in any way. The man felt protective of the girl. I thought that there was a chance that I'm just being dumb and going crazy. Been there. While meditating, I asked for validation. If I'm dumb, then nothing would happen, right? I put out a request to the void, so to speak. Oh dear. Well, this was around Christmas. I had a party at work. They rented out an entire restaurant and had an open bar. Oh God. What was wrong with them? Jesus. I got a ride with a co-worker who was a good friend of us all and knew about our ghosts too. She briefly lived at the house prior to our current roommates moving in. So, where I worked was a non-conventional job. I worked at a place that sold adult movies online. Got it. They didn't make them, but were/are well known for being a major retailer and even won awards for the industry. Can you win awards? Okay. So, very often, celebrities of said movie world would come to our parties. Must be interesting parties, just saying. Well, after several drinks, my co-worker decided to lead me up to one of them and introduce me. She had a dark sense of humour and wanted me to make a fool of myself to a pretty girl. Well, it backfired in the oddest way possible. This woman looked me dead in the face as though she knew who I was and we'd met before. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You, friend," name of roommate, "will be okay." My blood chilled to the bone. How the hell could she know his name? The little girl in your house needs to pass on. Ice filled my body. She mentioned a third thing that I cannot recall. Yeah, I'd be freaked out by that too. Afterwards, we talked for about 30 minutes. She explained that she was also exploring the supernatural, and we connected because we both share the same astrological sign of Sagittarius. Okay. Astrology girlies, do your thing. It's fine. She showed me a Sagittarius tattoo on her ankle. She was very nice and even met her again in next year's party. I know her stage name, but I will not share it here. Fair enough. Now, back to what she said. I had no idea what she could have meant by the first thing. My roommate is fine. Well, that night I went home a bit drunk, got a ride home and passed out. I was awoken at 3 a.m. to my girlfriend and a cop standing in my bedroom doorway. What? I was urged to go to the living room and sit down on a chair. There were 10 to 15 cops searching the entire house. I had no idea what was going on. I was still quite drunk. Oh, damn. My roommate had been busted with drugs in a sting operation. Oh. That night, he'd gone across state lines to get a large supply of a certain type of drug and was busted. They were waiting for him in our driveway. Long story short, he was never convicted or anything afterwards. In other words, he was fine. Months later, I told him about what the adult film star told me, and he insisted that I put him in contact with her, but I refused. Now, the little girl is something of a longer story, but basically we got a medium involved to help her pass on. After that, all activity stopped. The air in the house felt lighter and free. We never noticed how heavy the atmosphere felt in the house until it was gone. I put out the request and received verification that there is indeed something out there. After all was resolved, I cut all ties with the other side. I feel as though I dealt with it enough. I know how it feels to step over the boundary and will take that stride when it's my time. Sorry this was so long, but the coincidences in this story led me to believe that there is, in fact, a lot more to this world than we can see. It is weird. It's a weird one. Just also like the woman from the party as well, being like talking about a little girl. Ooh, that's creepy. But I'm gonna guess she probably was not like, oh, I was connected with your star sign, whatever. She's probably just like a medium or something. Sorry, astrology is fascinating and stuff, but when people start being like, oh, we're both Gemini, so like we know we get each other. It's like whatever. Just whatever, because like if you do delve into astrology, you will realize that having the same sun sign doesn't mean much, really, especially depending on like when you were born in that like time frame, and also it's all about like your natal chart and all the little aspects of your chart from when when you were born. Also, we Gemini get like really bad rep, and I don't understand why. Oh, Gemini's like two-faced. It's like, no, that's not what. No, I'm not gonna go on about it because I will no doubt begin to ramble on yet again, and I'm not going down a rabbit hole of astrology because it's far, far too much to just go. Okay, so last story for this video is Everything in Its Place. This happened many years ago in Longmont, Colorado. Longmont? Okay. I moved into a house that had 3 other people living there. They worked third shift and I worked second. I don't know what that means, but okay. I got home one night after moving in and I turned on the TV, grabbed a beer and a shot of whiskey. Okay. Was about to sit down when I noticed the door to the master bedroom was open. Rule of the house was to keep your doors closed, so I closed the door and sat down. I noticed the door was cracked open again, so I went and closed it, giving it a tug to make sure it was closed. I sat down and again the door was opened and a dark-haired woman stood at the end of the hall. Oh, God. Sorry. She wore a white long gown and she looked at me. I froze, and then I'm not sure if I heard it in my head or with my ears. I heard the words, "Thank you." Don't know why I said it so high pitched. Do it in like an old woman voice. Thank you. That's just my voice. Thank you. It's not old woman, that was just a whisper. I don't do voices. Thank you. God. I watched as she turned and went back into the master bedroom and the door closed. Freaked out, I rushed to the bedroom and searched it thoroughly. No one, nothing, just a cold shiver. Needless to say, I did not go to sleep that night. When my roommates came home, I told them what happened, and they told me the landlord's wife unalived herself in the house and she haunted it. Oh, fun. They said the fact that I kicked out a roommate's brother the day before because he was shooting a gun in the house, she wanted to say thanks. Okay. Strange when a ghost sees you and you them. Very strange. As I lived there, many things happened, but that's another story. I got shivers. Ugh. Like, I can't imagine seeing a ghost. Like, I've never seen, like, like a person. I've seen, like, shadows and stuff, but, like, I've never seen just, like, an actual, like, person stood there. I don't know what I'd do. Just freak out, probably. I mean, it's nice that she just wanted to say thank you to you, but also, yeah, I wouldn't have slept either. Nope. I would have freaked out, and that would have scared the hell out of me. Anyway, people of YouTube, that is that. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I sound like Boise from Only Fools and Horses. Not really.
What in God's name are you doing here?
Just sound really nasally. That is that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, you know what to do. Give it a little like and subscribe if you are new here and you enjoyed this, and I will be putting out more videos like this. Check out my second channel for daily vlogs and my TikTok for live streams that I will be doing with the makeup and actually trying to do better makeup, because like what is this? I got a little love out on the nose too. Anyway, that is that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. So stay spooky and stay safe out there, guys. Bye.